Hey guys, it's Ryne with a special episode of News Across All Arenas. And today it's just me right now, but I want to break down the new MLB season that is going to start today. More specifically, I'm going to just give my takes on my team, the Chicago Cubs, as well as other teams I'll highlight as well. But today is just breaking down what I'm seeing with the Chicago Cubs for the 2025 MLB season. So let's get started. Um, the Cubs were in the Tokyo series about just a week ago. And if you're not familiar, they always do these international games where they pick two teams to travel there and they play some exhibition games and including two games that actually count in the season. So we had two games with the Cubs versus the LA Dodgers, and you can say that there's a few players on the Dodgers, of course, Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki, and Yamamoto on that team. And of course, for the Cubs, you have Shotei Imanaga, Suzuki. Got blank there for a second, but we have Suzuki. So, it was a pretty understanding why they had these two teams play the Tokyo series. So, going to the game, um, the Cubs get swept both games, and just kind of you know giving my thoughts of how the games went and where things can be fixed or have they fixed anything from last season. Shote, he opened up game one. He looked good, pitched about I think four innings, and then got pulled out. At that time, I think it was a low scoring game. Yeah, the Cubs were actually leading 1-0 uh, in the fourth. And then going to the fifth, they pulled him out and they put in, the reliever for the Cubs. And right off the bat, Dodgers get three runs. So, and then, you know, also with the Cubs, one thing that they've had struggled last season was leaving base runners in scoring position and just never capitalizing on putting um, runs on the board, which honestly, in my opinion, I think that definitely hurt them a lot last year. There were a lot of games last season where they were winning, winning the first five, and then and that has to be uh, responsible for the starting pitching, which was pretty excellent in the beginning of the season and moving forward at the end of this season. But our relieving just they could never hold a lead, and so that would basically enable the Cubs to lose, one score games. And when we needed the offense to come back and make a miracle run happen, it just never sufficed. So it kind of reflected again going into this season with these Tokyo games, where both of them, they basically did the same thing too, where they can make a comeback. They were able to. In the second game, they lost 6-3. And in the ninth inning, they were again in scoring position to at least um, maybe not win the game, but maybe get closer. Um, so, and in the second game, you had Justin Steele, who he didn't look good in spring training, and then going into this game, he Uh, he gave up 2 runs in the first 2 innings. Um, I am positive that they'll kinda get their bearings together once the season actually starts, which is, today, and they're starting off their opening day series with the, Arizona Diamondbacks in, uh, in Arizona. So, I'm hoping that they can, obviously work on the things that they need to fix. Uh, the it looks like the starting projected starting pitching is gonna be Imanaga, number 1, Steele, number 2, Jamison Tyone, 3, Matthew Boyd, and then the 5th spot was we weren't sure if it was gonna be Colin Rea or Ben Brown, but, it was released today that or yesterday, I'm sorry, that, Ben Brown will be the 5th starter. So, you got a collective of, veterans and, young guys. Ben Brown was very promising last season. So and then Matthew Boyd just came from Cleveland, who he played in the postseason. He had a 2.28 ERA, and this is returning after Tommy John. So we'll see. And then Jamison Tyone, he was pretty decent last season. And then, Justin was hurt in the beginning of last season, so that kind of probably messed up his mechanics. And then, Shote being a rookie last year, he looked awesome. So I'm hoping for Imanaga to continue that success, with and the rest of the starters that are on the Cubs rotation. So one of the biggest acquisitions that the Cubs did during this offseason, of course, was, Kyle Tucker, um, coming from the Houston Astros, World Series champion with them, not just a few seasons ago. And no, this was a great, signing. We definitely needed another bat that can, take over when we need him to, great outfielder. We also signed Ryan Presley, the closer of the Houston Astros as well. And that's a pretty good pickup. He's a little bit on the older side, but he's definitely still, he's got a lot of experience, especially in the postseason. So if we ever get to the, postseason, he's definitely reliable. Justin Turner, Big Red from the started off with the Dodgers and then went to Boston and just recently came from Seattle. So, that's another veteran that can, spark up the clubhouse. We got Ryan Brazier from the Dodgers. He was pretty good too when he's with them. So those are as far as the relief pitching, Presley and Ryan Brazier are definitely good pickups. Hopefully they can kind of give us that missing pieces that we needed last season and fix that bullpen. So as I mentioned, opening day is today. So there's going to be a lot of baseball being played all day long, and it's just always a cool feeling when baseball is back because that means it's springtime. The weather's nice. It's always a cool feeling to go to baseball games um, when you watch it live. Um, it's an experience that I get to share with my son, who is, he's about to start playing baseball at the end of this month, and can't wait to see him go play. And we were already practicing hitting some baseballs and catching balls. So it's baseball is just such a it's America's pastime, and there's just so much rich history with it. Me, I was actually named after Ryan Sandberg. For those who don't know who that is, he's a Chicago Cubs legend. That was my mom's favorite baseball player before I was even born. And so the cool thing was she would go to the games, uh, when before I was born, and when she was pregnant with me, she would go to the baseball games. So like I'm just basically a Chicago Cubs lifer. My son, we named him after Addison Street, which is where Wrigley Field um, is located at, so off of Addison and Clark. And so, there's just a lot of, you know, cool, stories behind my name and, my son's name. And it's just a really cool feeling for me when baseball comes because it means a lot to me. Obviously when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016 after breaking 108 um, drought of not winning a championship, that was just awesome. And my son, he was a World Series baby, if so to speak. But um, as I mentioned, today is opening day. Uh, the Cubs are starting off their season in the West Coast against the Diamondbacks. They've been a playoff team for the last few years. They just made it to the World Series just about I think 2 seasons ago. And so we have Justin Steele going first on the mound against Zach Gallen. So that should be a pretty good matchup. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see if the Cubs can, although they are starting 0-2, kind of don't want to put that in the rear view mirror and not think about that and just start the season today and don't worry about what happened in Tokyo. Just play the games. It's 162 games. It's a grueling season. And I'm hoping that the Cubs can, you know, work out their things that they need to fix, whether it's, getting the offense going, making sure the starters are good, and then the relieving too. Um, but I'm excited for the season and hoping to see if they can make it to the postseason because the Cubs are in a division that has been tough for many years, and very competitive, I should say. But the last few seasons, maybe starting maybe 2 seasons ago, and maybe even last season, you know, th- everyone had the Cubs and Brewers, as the top two teams coming out of that division. And we were very hopeful that they could have made a run last season, especially with the signing of firing Dave Ross, the skipper, who he's part of the 2016 World Series team that won. And sad to see him go, but maybe the management wanted to see it go in a different direction. And so we signed our nemesis really from the Milwaukee Brewers, Craig Console. But he is, even though he's been on the Brewers for many years, he has definitely been a very good general manager for all those years with the Brewers. So having him come last season was great. It didn't work out the way that we wanted to, but the first season is kind of just getting all the bearings and getting everything together, and hoping to see that whatever they did this season, we'll see more magic um, leading to this new season. So I'm excited to see what happens. And we are still uh, you know maybe not, I don't know if we're favored, but I know that we are still up there to hopefully to win the NL Central this season. So hoping and praying that that works out. So as far as the rest of the league, there has been some notable free agencies this off season. The first one I'm sure we can say that, Juan Soto going to the New York Mets. So moving from the Yankees to the Mets, signing a 15-year deal for $765 million. That's pretty huge. So, with him in the lineup, that should be uh, that should give them more power in their lineup. And they made it to the playoffs, the postseason last year. So, maybe that was a missing piece that they need. Another big signing is Blake Snell to the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's a two-time Cy Young winner. He signed a 5-year deal for 182 million. And again, you can never count out the Dodgers. They're a machine. They do spend a lot of money, but the Dodgers LA is a destination where players want to play, where they pay the players. It's in the West Coast, nice weather. And the Dodgers, they're winning, and you can't, as much as I hate to see them win because it's not my team, but you can't not but be just jealous of it, because they just, whatever their front office is doing is working, and they're going to continue doing it until they don't win anymore. But, you know, they are the favorite to win, to repeat this season. Their odds are on DraftKings are plus 275, so it's very short. I mean, I can't not agree with that. They are just signing. They just picked up, signed Roki Sasaki, the Japanese player that he was very sought out this season. The Cubs try to get him, but just didn't happen. And again, the Dodgers are a destination to go to because they have all these great players. The management wants to win, and the fact that they still have money is just ridiculous and crazy, that they can still win, spend all this money and still get more people and win games. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, if they, have a World Series hangover or not. Who knows? But I definitely still see the Dodgers, at the top, once we get into October. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for me on this special edition of News Across Arenas, highlighting, my thoughts and takes of the Cubs season, this year, and also highlighting all the big moves in across the league. So it's going to be a great season. Can't wait to maybe plan some vacations to go see some games. I think one of them that I'm planning to go to is going to Texas with the family this year, and so hoping to catch a Texas Rangers game. So yeah, man, I love this time of the year for baseball. So well, that's it for me. Once again, I'm Ryne. This is News Across All Arenas. Catch you next time.